there's this feeling of like rumination of like, what did I do? What could I have done differently? Like all of those ruminating thoughts start to like gaslight ourselves around what we actually did do really well.
We have to take 100% responsibility for the way that we are showing up. Because by doing that, you get to have a large degree of control over the outcome of the relationship. Hey everybody, it's Bianca.
And this is Emilia.
Welcome to another episode of Evolve Ventures, where we are helping growth-minded humans evolve by breaking one limiting belief at a time. We hope you enjoyed the last episode, number 212, The Wrong People to Ask for Validation. For today, 213, Motivation Monday, this one belief will save your relationship. Miss Emilia May, the relationship expert. I'm going to let you take this one. Take the lead, my friend.
Alrighty. So we're going to get into belief busting on this one. Happy Monday, y'all. Take this vibe, pick it up, pull it into your day. I'm all about it. So this one belief that we tend to have, and I tend to come across a lot when it comes to relationship coaching, and I'm talking about intimate relationship coaching, but I also get into all the beautiful tendrils of relationships in general, be it coworkers, be it their staff, be it friends, family, foes, all that jazz. There is a belief that a lot of people hold and honestly gets passed down generationally, regardless of culture, where we believe in many aspects that relationships are 50-50. But I have learned in science and research and data and successful relationships prove that it's in the belief that relationships actually require 100% on each side of the table. That's where the success therein lies. And what do I mean by that? It's 100 on each side. And so this exactly, this looks like not, okay, well, 50%, I'm going to bring myself 50% to the table. And because I did my part, 50%, they got to meet me halfway. We hear that a lot, right? That's a belief that leaves so much impact, so much connection, so much intimacy, emotional, physical, spiritual, whatever, on the table. When we hold the belief that my relationships require 100% of responsibility, that is huge. Because if you have two people coming from the kind of relationship table, if you will, and saying it's going to take maybe not 100% of me, but I take 100% responsibility for this relationship, my part, right? When you can have that belief, you take two relationships and have one relationship, right? A relationship that says relationships are 50-50. That's a belief. But then you have a completely different relationship that says relationships are 100-100. Which one do you think is going to win long term? Which one not only is going to win, but have more levels of fulfillment, more levels of growth, more levels of contribution, longevity, like you name it, health? It's the one that comes into relationships with the belief that relationships are 100-100, not 50-50.
Something I want to touch upon, because this is a thought that just popped up that I think a lot of people are going to experience, that does that mean that my partner doesn't have to do anything and I give 100%?
Hell no.
Not in the slightest. If you are giving 100% to the relationship and your partner is not meeting you, it requires a dialogue, right? That isn't to say that you don't have to expect anything, have boundaries, rules,
guidelines,
shared connection and meaning and understanding in the relationship. What it means is that you are going to take 100% responsibility for how you show up on the day to day in that relationship. And on the days where you can't be 100%. You give everything that you can to at least communicate that, to show up the
Mm-hmm.
way that you can and have the communication to say, I'm at like 50 today.
Mm.
I think I need to go get some R&R and whatever, and then I can come back and be what I need or do what I need to do. Whatever, right? Like whatever that ends up looking like. But I think it's really important for all of us to realize that not only in intimate relationships, but in any relationship that we're in, we have to take 100% responsibility for the way that we are showing up.
Mm-hmm.
Because by doing that, you get to have a large degree of control over the outcome of the relationship. At least, like, we can't fully control what happens in a relationship, but you can control how you respond, how you
Mm-hmm.
show up, how you are there for your partner.
Definitely.
And let's say your relationship ends, you can have that dialogue with yourself of, you know what? I really gave it my all. I did, and I know that I did, and I know that I will for the next person. It
Mm-hmm.
reduces a lot of like guilt that people experience because I think honestly, Emmett, you'll know this more than I do. I feel like a lot of people leave relationships and feel massive guilt because they know they could have done more and they didn't, and now they're seeing it.
1,000%. And that's why I really want to bring this belief to those relationships, because truth is, we don't have our first love and end up with them forever. Statistics show that when you meet someone, you probably have a couple relationships before you actually find your partner that you want to spend the rest of your life with. And what happens in between, and why do I even mention that? Because a lot of us find that the 50-50 relationship belief, that actually destroys relationships. And why do I mention that? Is because exactly after the relationship fails or is over, there's a breakup, whatever, there's this feeling of like rumination of like, what did I do? What could I have done differently? Like all of those ruminating thoughts start to like gaslight ourselves around what we actually did do really well. And here's the thing, when we actually show up into our relationships with the belief that relationships are 100, when we start to show up with that belief, that leaves that guilt if the relationship does in fact fail or end for whatever reasons, good, bad, indifferent, amicably, whatever. At least you have that certainty where there is no room for guilt trips. There's no room for gaslighting yourself. There's no room for questioning how you showed up in the relationship, right? And I find that can be extremely empowering because like that sense of responsibility is so huge. Like even when you think about like, you and I jumping on a Zoom call, and I know this might be weird for some people and that's okay. I want to give an example, bringing it to the tangible level. Like this isn't, you and I aren't in an intimate relationship, but you and I are missionships. We are in a mission relationship. So we are business partners. We are people that are friends. We like really care about one another in so many regards. We play a very intimate role in each other's lives and the trajectory of what we're accomplishing. If I show up to a Zoom call and I'm really upset or I have a really heavy emotional cloud on me, easy enough for you to personalize that you did something wrong. If you have the cognitive belief that like at whatever it is that Emilia shows up, she's acting a little weird. Like, was it something that I did? Was it something like you can go into that ruminant spiral and personalize and think and hold the belief that you did something wrong. With my belief that relationships are 100%, not 50-50, I inherently communicate kind of to what you said. If you're not able to give it 100%, what's your 80% and share that? It's my responsibility to say, hey, B, just want to let you know, like I'm having a rough time right now. I'm struggle bus city. It has nothing to do with you. I just want to let you know that so that you aren't internalizing that, so that you aren't misinterpreting that. Same thing goes with our intimate relationships. If we are at a 7 out of 10, or if at the end of our work day, we're coming home to our significant other, when we hold the belief that relationships are 100, right? If we hold that belief, we can vulnerably share, babe, I'm really upset with what happened earlier today. Can we talk about it? Maybe not right now because I'm not a full cup. I need a little bit of R&R. But can we talk about that later? Huge. that doesn't let things off the hook. That doesn't let things slide. That doesn't leave room for you to tramp on your boundaries around what you need, right? That allows you the space and gives you permission to be perfectly imperfect, is what I say. And showing up in the relationship in the capacity that you can, while also taking accountability and responsibility for if there is a gap on which you typically show up in, and I think that can be really empowering. And that's where a lot of the gold is built in really successful relationships.
Absolutely. Final takeaway and episode suggestion.
I would say, so this belief is built by a ton of thoughts. And I know that if you don't have this belief right now, I think that it's going to take time to start to change maybe the belief that you have if you have had this 50-50 relationship belief been passed down. So I would just say, final takeaway is keep remembering that hunted. Emilia saying hunted, because if you can at least remember that, then maybe that can start to drip into some of your thoughts, and your thoughts drip into your belief. That's what comprises the beliefs that we have. And thus, that's how we show up in the world, in alignment with our beliefs. So my final takeaway to our listeners is to keep it hunted. And my episode suggestion on this Monday is 124, the biggest secret to growth. You?
It's going to follow me into my dreams. I'm going to wake up and be like, hunted. Yeah, seriously. My final takeaway. We have a lot more control over our lives and our relationships, I think, than most of us realize. And it starts by showing up fully as often as we can. And if we can't, that's okay. But can you communicate that? And can you learn and get better? And that's exactly what I've done. So I know that it's possible. Episode suggestion is 166. What is the quality of your relationship? It is a Gucci one.
Definitely a great one there. So if this is something that you recognize, hey, after I've heard this episode, I realized that I have actually had the 50-50 belief passed down. That's going to be a problem in your relationship. And I can share by coaching people that have had the compound effect of that problem show up. Jump on the call with Bianca and I. We will help to kind of accelerate the swapping out of the limiting belief, is what I would call that, the 50-50, to a more empowering one, which is relationships are 100. The link is going to be in the show notes for our calendar. We would love to connect with you. We would love to help you in this regard so that this one belief can save your relationship and start really rewiring some of the things that are underneath this. So that will be in the show notes. And if this episode resonated with you, we would love to see how it resonated with you. You can show us by leaving a comment on the episode, tagging us on social media, or even leaving us a review, which we would greatly appreciate. That can be seen on Apple Podcast, and that will help other people who are struggling in this regard get access to these free resources, which is what we are so grateful for. So that said, have a beautiful Monday. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, y'all.